Hey, everybody, welcome back to Voice Global. This is part of our Fireside chat series, and I'm excited to speak with our next guest, Jürgen Schmerter. Jürgen is the Director of AI Experience for Mercedes-Benz Research and Development, North America. Jürgen, how you doing?
Good. Hey, Pete. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I just hear my dog barking in the background. I'm not sure if this mic is going to pick it up or not, but you know, it's that's the way it goes nowadays, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
So, first off, tell us a little bit about the research and development group for Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah. So we're running a software lab here for Mercedes-Benz in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. Usually we have an office in Sunnyvale. Nobody's in there right now.
Right.
Working from home. But we write software that goes into Mercedes-Benz cars. My team specifically works with all the stuff to make the infotainment system seem intelligent and personalized. Right. So we use machine learning and software to personalize your user experience in Mercedes-Benz cars. But we also have like groups that work on autonomous driving. We have groups that deal with compliance for the US market, a whole lot of stuff. So all in all, I think we have about 700-800 employees.
Wow. That's a big group. And your role as the Director of Experience AI, tell us what that encompasses?
I manage a team of about 40 people that write software that make the car seem intelligent. And the reason we're here is part of making a machine seem intelligent is that you can talk to it. So we teamed up with Cerence and SoundHound to build the Hey Mercedes MBUX voice assistant for the US market. So traditionally, you could talk to Mercedes-Benz cars for the last 20 or so years. So cars were really early in adopting voice control as a way to like do hands-free operations of the car. But in recent years, like after we saw what's possible with Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant and on Siri and all these other assistants that you use in your home, on your phone, and on other devices, we have moved from voice control, navigate to 309 North Pastoria Avenue in Sunnyvale, which happens to be our office location,
right?
Or turn on the seat heating to a full-fledged voice assistant. Hey, Mercedes, I'm hungry.
Right.
Now figure out what I want to eat, where to find it. Do I want to pre-order something? Do I want to reserve a table for 4? Like all these things are now possible, and we're starting to bring them to our cars.
What's the name of the product that is the voice assistant platform that you all develop?
The official name is MBUX, Mercedes-Benz User Experience Voice Assistant.
Okay.
That's how we advertise it. Everyone calls it Hey Mercedes.
Yeah, Hey Mercedes, kind of the brand name. With the big platforms, with Alexa and with Google Assistant, it seems that then you would be able to interface with those assistants. Is that correct?
We are in early talks, I would say, to interface with those assistants. So nobody really knows how the future of AI assistants is going to look like. One line of thought is always the winner takes it all. There's going to be like the one universal assistant that deals with everything, and everyone else just feeds content into it.
Right.
Another line of thought is that all these assistants could collaborate to make your life easier.
Right.
What's definitely not in the future is that we have like a ton of isolated experiences, and you have to figure out how to talk to my assistant in the car.
Right.
Then you figure out how to talk to your assistant on the phone and your assistant on your smart speaker. That's kind of where we are right now.
Sure. very fragmented.
But
It's a
that's not the future.
fragmented market right now.
Yeah.
But I think that, I guess what I was getting at is that you really want to be able to have an integrated experience. So you can use your voice if you're in your car watching your TV, or maybe in your kitchen, but you want to have some level of integration so that the systems can chat with each other. I would love to for the viewers out there, and this is my own curiosity as well with regards to the platform. How much of the CPU is resident on the car, and how much of it is in the cloud?
Our cars are really powerful computers. We're talking about hundreds of GPUs that power only the infotainment system.
Right.
But then there's a lot of stuff running on them, like your navigation, really sophisticated rendering, 3D images of the cars that you can like flip.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff that runs on them. In terms of NLU, we do have an embedded NLU engine because we want you to be able to do the bread and butter functions in your car and operate everything, even when your car is not online, meaning you're driving for a skiing trip to Lake Tahoe and you're in the mountains and you don't have a signal. Your phone doesn't have a signal. Your car doesn't have a signal. You're feeling cold. You want to turn on the seat heating. That should always work.
Right.
But then there's also functions that happen outside the car, and we are adding more and more of those functions in the cloud. So we also have a full cloud-based NLU. And whenever you wake up the system with "Hey Mercedes" or pressing the button, we actually stream your command to both the engine in the car and the engine in the cloud. And then those two engines in between each other figure out who's responsible for answering your request. If you ask for turning the seat heating on, the car will do that for you. If you ask for the weather report, the cloud will deliver the weather report and the car will just read it out to you. So it's actually pretty complicated.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that, was it the Super Bowl? I remember seeing the Mercedes ad, about the voice assistant in the car, and I was just like jumping up and down because it was like, it was great. I'm sure you were a little happy about that as well.
Yeah, that still comes up. That was the 2019 Super Bowl, and we were actually surprised by it. We got to see the ad the Friday before the Super Bowl.
Oh wow, that's great. Well, I mean, it goes to show the importance of voice, right? That they chose to actually make that a feature of the ad, and a selling point for the car. I can certainly attest that we have an older car and a newer car, and the older car doesn't have voice and the newer car does. And there's a real difference with regards to just, operability, and it feels like safety and a whole range of other, capabilities. So, Jürgen, where do you see this going? You've talked a little bit of kind of about this unified platform. I mean, I don't think there's going to be one monolithic platform, because I think we've got multiple players. You have Apple and Google and Amazon and Samsung coming up, and then you've got a bunch of other companies that are out there. You mentioned your two partners, but Salesforce is coming out with Einstein, and Microsoft has Cortana that looks like it's more of an enterprise voice play here as we move forward. But where do you think things are going to head here in 2021 as the economy gets going again, and car sales pick back up? But kind of what are you looking at, and what's on the horizon for you?
Okay, here's my crystal ball.
No pressure.
In 2021, I assume we will see first examples of actually cross-assistant integrations. I mean, we have seen things like Amazon Alexa and Cortana integrating in certain ways. We said that you can use Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant to talk to your Mercedes car, but that's really just scratching the surface. I think in 2021, we will see first really serious integrations, and also probably companies are going to start experiment with the different models there are. Are you going to have like multiple wake words side by side? And then depending on what wake word you use, you wake up another assistant. Like Sonos is an example of a company that integrates both Alexa and Google. And right now you have to choose which one you want. But you could totally see that both wake words could be active side by side. And then if you happen to be a Google Assistant person, your wife happens to be an Alexa person, it really doesn't matter. You just like say, okay, Google, you say Alexa, or you say, hey, Mercedes, and you wake up the respective assistant. That could be one model. The other model could be what Cerence has actually talked about a couple of months ago. I don't know if you've seen the press release about handing off a command to the assistant that seems to be most likely to have the answer. So you could see a model where you go like, hey, Mercedes, turn off the lights at home. And Mercedes figures out, that's not for me. That is something that Alexa should answer. So none of that is really defined yet.
Yeah.
But I think in the community, we all see the problem.
Right.
We all see that like, okay, the old days were you have to figure out how to talk to an assistant and what that thing can do for you. And you kind of have to learn the language of the assistant. The future 5-10 years out is, excuse me, the future 5-10 years out is you just say what you want. And the damn assistant has to figure out how to do it.
Right.
And then in between, we will see like different ways to approach that problem. Some will stick because they work, and others will die because people don't use them. And I think now is the time where this whole thing gets started.
I think it's painting a good picture. I like your crystal ball. I do think that custom wake words are on their way. I think that's got to happen where people can customize their device, and that'll also help with some authenticity if folks are worried about that. But you've been kind with your time. I really admire what you're doing at Mercedes, and it's showing through your products. And thanks for joining us here at Voice Global, Jürgen. I hope you'll join us again coming up this fall at Voice Summit. Thanks for having me, Pete. I am ready to join an in-person conference by now. Well, we want to, I'm an event planner. We built this business for 11 years on getting people together. So we hope the same. Let's keep our fingers crossed for a vaccine soon. But definitely want to see you in person. But thanks for joining us virtually, and thanks for all the work you're doing at Mercedes. And we look forward to staying in touch. Thanks, Pete. Cheers.